Hello children, here's your science tutor Nishat. In our previous sessions, we have seen that the nutrients obtained from the food are transported to all our body cells. We have also seen that the oxygen taken in while breathing is also supplied to all our body cells, right? But the question is, how are these materials transported from one part to the other part in our body? Well, the multicellular organisms have a specialized system for the transportation of materials within them, known as the circulatory system. And that is what we shall study about now. This circulatory system is a network that is responsible for the transportation of materials like carbon dioxide, oxygen, nutrients, salts, as well as waste from one part to the other part in our body. So the circulatory system has three major components, that is the blood vessels and heart. So firstly, let's see about the blood. So this blood is a connective tissue which is made up of the platelets, red blood cells, white blood cells and plasma. So this blood is responsible for the transport of materials such as carbon dioxide, oxygen, nutrients and waste. Next, the blood vessels. These blood vessels are the network of passages or tubes within which the blood flows from one part to the other part. So these blood vessels are of three types: the arteries, veins and capillaries. So arteries are the thick-walled blood vessels which carry the blood away from the heart to various other organs in our body. Since these arteries carry blood that comes from the heart under high pressure, it is made up of thick walls. Next, the veins. Veins are also the type of blood vessels which carry the blood from all the different parts of the body and bring it back to our heart. Now the bluish green lines that we see on our hands or legs are nothing but the veins. Lastly, the capillaries. These arteries and veins further divide into smaller and smaller tubes called capillaries. And these capillaries are the actual site of exchange of materials. Since this blood does so much of work, it needs something. That is, it needs a pumping organ to push it to all the parts in our body. Right? So that pumping organ is nothing but the heart. And this heart is the third major component of our circulatory system. So how does this pumping organ, the heart, look like? Does it look like this? Not at all. Well, it's the most complicated and sensitive organ of a body which appears like this. Now, just like other organs of a body, the heart also works hard 24/7. Its size is about one's own fist. It is located between the lungs, slightly tilted towards the left. Now, just like the tennis net separates or divides a tennis court into two parts, our heart is also divided into the right side and left side by a cardiac septum. So the right side of the heart is filled with the deoxygenated blood, that is, blood rich in carbon dioxide, and the left side of the heart is filled with the oxygenated blood, the blood rich in oxygen. So this cardiac septum separates the oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood from mixing. Hence, it is very important or useful for maintaining the body temperature in organisms like mammals and birds. Now, each side of the heart is further divided into two chambers each. The upper two chambers are called as the atria or atrium. The lower two chambers are called as the ventricles. So, in total, heart has 4 chambers. Further, the right atrium and right ventricle are separated by a tricuspid valve, and the left atrium and left ventricle are separated by a bicuspid valves. The function of these valves is to see that the blood flows in one direction only. It prevents the backflow of the blood. Basically, it acts like the security guards. So this is how the structure of a heart is. Now let's see how does the circulatory system works. From the different parts of a body, the deoxygenated blood is brought to the heart and is collected in the right atrium through the veins such as superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. This deoxygenated blood now moves into the right ventricle. Now, in order to purify the blood, it is sent to lungs through pulmonary artery. In lungs, the carbon dioxide from deoxygenated blood is taken away and oxygen is added to the blood. Now, this blood becomes oxygenated, rich in oxygen. Since this oxygenated blood has to be transported to all the parts of a body, it has to be first sent back to the heart through pulmonary veins, and it gets collected in the left atrium. Further, it flows down to left ventricle, and finally this oxygenated blood moves into the artery called aorta, and from there it is transported to all the parts of a body, and hence the cycle continues. Since the blood flows twice through the heart in each cycle, it is called as the double circulation. Well, not just this, the circulatory system has its own maintenance or the repair system. For example, we might cut our finger accidentally while chopping vegetables. So blood starts oozing out from the wound. That means the blood vessel has got damaged in that place. So at this point, the platelets present in the blood come to action. So they will stop the further leakage of blood from the wound by forming a clot at that place. So this is how their maintenance system works. Now this is all about the circulatory system. So let's continue the topic in our next video.